Okay, so welcome on board to this masterclass. The masterclass answers some questions about career development of the teachers, about what are the requirements for an international teacher, is a B.Ed enough, what qualification is needed, and all of those questions. I think you're all here to have doubts around the topic answered, right? Let me start by introducing myself briefly. I like to introduce myself as an educator. I have a teaching experience for around 15 years in different curricula, different parts of the world. And of course, throughout my teaching career, I had different roles as a teacher, as a head of department, as a coordinator. And I've been with Suraasa for the past 3 years now, leading so many operations and connecting with teachers every day. So for you who have already, we've already communicated earlier, you know that Suraasa is a group of passionate educators, that we all come from the education field, and that's the passion that keeps us moving ahead, and that we all aspire into empowering teachers, giving them the best opportunities and growing with them. Okay, so are you ready to start? It would be great if you can open your cameras. It would be like more interactive, and it would be lovely to see your faces and the smiles behind the cameras. I know with this, you know, these days everybody's at home. I know sometimes we're on our comfort zone, but it's always lovely to see the smile behind the camera. So it'll be great if you can open your cameras for more interaction, and so that I feel more like, okay, I'm there with you. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay. So just before we start with the session, just like general rules like we have every time with our learners. I believe most of us are either teachers or aspiring teachers. So we have to set a bit of rules before we start, right? So we have to be present, meaning that just keep your mind present, and you know that you're here, you're investing your time here to get some answers to some of your questions, right? So be present so that you have your answers that you're looking for. Keep an open mind, you know that we're here, we always learn every day, we learn from each other. So again, think of it as a learning experience that you want to learn, and you want to keep an open mind for that. I would love it if you are active, you interact with me, you collaborate. There will be a few activities, maybe chat, mention, write in the chat box, ask questions, and of course you listen to learn. I think we all by now know the rules of the online learning, that we have to raise a hand to participate, or at any time you feel like it's convenient, you can just unmute yourself and speak up. Okay, and of course be positive and constructive. So I hope we're all ready to start. I already have 2 people raising their hands. I have 19, 17, somebody's raising their hand. If you have anything to ask before we start, let me know so that we start smoothly. Anybody wants to share anything? Okay, wonderful. I think it's safe to start. I'm going to lower the hands.
In which subject we are going to discuss?
So the masterclass is about becoming a teacher of any subject of any level. It will discuss different requirements, okay? So since you have mentioned, Sarah, the masterclass is going to answer these questions. What are teacher requirements around the world? What's the difference between B.Ed and other teaching qualifications? Is B.Ed enough to become an international teacher? And what should I look for in a teaching qualification? So basically it answers questions around a teaching qualification and teacher requirements. Okay? Let's start then. Okay, so I'm going to start with a case study. I'm going to ask you to suppose that you are a principal that is looking to hire a teacher. Okay, and you receive applications from 4 teachers. I wanted to think about it and tell me, which teacher would you choose? Would you choose a teacher with no experience and no teaching qualification? Would you choose a teacher with no experience but has a teaching qualification? A teacher who has experience but no qualification? Or a teacher who has experience and has qualification? It would be great if you write your answer in the chat box. I started receiving replies. Teacher 4, teacher 4. 3 and 4, 2 and 4. Okay. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. 3 and 4. Okay. Let me hear somebody who has chosen teacher 1 and tell me, why would you hire teacher 1? Somebody who has chosen teacher 1. Let me check. Arun, can you tell me, why would you hire teacher 1 if you were a teacher, if you were a principal? Hello. Okay. Anybody else would like to share, why would you hire teacher 1?
Hi, Lulu.
Hi.
My name is Taru. I have given option 4, but when I started my career as a teacher, I I didn't have teaching experience, and I didn't have teaching any degree
Any
or
qualification, right?
Yeah. So, but I worked for a corporate, and the principal, she was looking for a person who can, like, they had urgent requirement, plus they were looking for, some person who can bring in additional values into the school and organization. I
Okay.
joined as a teacher and a teacher trainer.
Okay.
Yeah. So
you were the teacher number 1 for the principal, right?
I joined there. I don't know how many applications came in with me, but yes, I got an opportunity to work as a teacher. That was never in my card. Teaching was never in my card. I was into corporate. But yes, I was lucky enough to get an opportunity into
Okay. Okay, let's think again from the perspective of the principal who is hiring. If you are a principal and hiring, I've got most of you have chosen, and you've chosen different options, but I see option 4 was there for everyone. Because of course, as a principal, you'd like somebody who has experience and qualification. But again, let's think about from the perspective of a principal. As you have just shared, you were hired with no experience and no qualification, right? So sometimes the school would hire a person with no experience, no qualification because of, why do you think that principal chose you? What do you think the reason was for that?
They cannot afford qualified teachers.
Maybe for less pay, or what do you think? Think about it this way. What is it that the schools are looking for? As a school leader, as a school principal, what are you looking for? Yes, hello.
Performance, maybe? Also.
Performance, excellent. So let's say I have a teacher with no experience and no qualification, but I see that they have the right attitude and I know that they can learn and grow, right? The school might hire them. If a teacher has no experience but has the qualification, they have the knowledge, they have the knowledge.
Sorry for the interrupt. Hello.
Hello.
See, ma'am, I'm still not joined this course, but I'm apply for this course.
Okay, so we're now answering the question, if you are a principal and you are hiring. So basically, even if a teacher has experience and qualification, for example, there is a teacher who has 20 years of experience and had her B.Ed 20 years ago. Do you think she would be hired? I know that
may
4
I?
might be as the obvious option, but do you think a teacher she would be hired? Yes, Miss Pima.
May I share? Thank
Yeah.
you so much. Well, if I were the principal of the school, if I'd look for what traits I'd look for a teacher is probably I'd look for the right attitude.
Okay.
Because skills are something that can be taught, but attitude is something which cannot be unless you really have an open mindset. So I think basically I'd be looking for that.
Okay, so somebody might have experience or not, might have a qualification or not. If they have the right attitude and the right skills, they would be hired, right? Right skills. So as a teacher, what I need to be looking for is I need to develop my skills. Yes, please.
Yeah, hi, my name is Pinky. Yeah, I just have a question regarding the first option that you given, like a teacher if not having any qualification or the experience.
Right.
So will that teacher be hired or not? So my question is, if that kind of CV a principal gets, how that principal would know about the skills the person has is having?
So this teacher would have the least chance of being hired, while the fourth teacher will have the highest chance of being hired.
Will that CV be considered at all?
Okay, so let's consider this one. So to answer your question, I'm going to say that the teacher with no experience and no qualification would have the least chance of being hired, right? While the teacher with the experience and the qualification would have the highest chance of being hired. But at the end, if the principal receives a CV with experience and a qualification, but I want you to consider this example, okay? Consider a teacher who has many years of experience and has taken her B.Ed or his B.Ed maybe 20 years ago. Sometimes those teachers are stuck in one place, right? Because they have been doing the same thing over and over again, and they have a closed mindset into learning. So that also would not be a very good option for the principal to hire. So the best option for the principal to hire is somebody with an open mindset and somebody with the skills. So what do I need to look for? As a teacher now looking to be hired, I need to develop my teaching skills, right?
Agreed.
Right.
To be more intellectual with the students, to be more interactive, to be confident.
More open-minded, right? But I need to develop those skills of how to become that teacher. I want you, let's move ahead to our next activity. Okay, here, I want you to go to paulev.com, enter my name and respond to activity. Respond to activity, tell me what are the skills that a teacher should have. Write them there. Okay.
Do we have to do right now?
Yes, please. paulev.com.
Okay, sure.
Can you please repeat what are we supposed to do?
Okay, so the instructions are on the screen. Go to paulev.com. paulev.com. Enter this my name, Lulu Husseiki 915. And over there is tell me what are the skills that you think a teacher should have. As you write your answers there, they'll start showing on our screen, on the screen here. See, I've started receiving responses. So mindedness skills, open, communication skills. This is what you are writing. I'll just show the instructions one more time. Go to paulev.com. Enter your name. Enter Lulu Husseiki 915 and respond. What are the skills that a teacher should have? So I already have you have started answering. Communication, always listening, open-mindedness. Yes.
I just cannot log into the page.
Just paulev.com.
Same with me. There is some problem in the site, maybe, or
paulev.com. Try one more time. Just clear your
I've tried twice. I have tried twice.
Okay,
Maybe
some
there's
of you,
some-
we already have 18 results. Some it's working with you. Maybe you can write them in the chat. If you cannot use the link, write it in the chat. Okay.
Sure.
Wonderful. So the right attitude, management, knowledge, the right knowledge, the pedagogy knowledge, understanding, expressive, smiling. I like smiling, powerful, interactive, proper reasoning, compassionate. So see, you have listed all the skills that a teacher should have to be a skillful teacher. Can you think out of those skills, which ones are specific to teaching? Can you write for me in the chat? Is communication specific to teaching?
Pedagogical skills.
Pedagogical skills. What else?
Ability to make yourself connect to all kind of learners, no matter at what levels they are.
Connecting to the learner is wonderful. What else is specific to teaching?
Reflecting, collaborative.
Collaborative skills.
Okay, let's go one by one.
Should be patience, should possess patience.
Only teachers need to be patient.
Knowledge.
Having previous knowledge about the
Knowledge.
Interaction.
Again,
Demonstrate leadership qualities.
Are they only specific to teachers? Can you think about those that are specific to teachers more?
Flexible,
good
adaptable.
listener. Good reasoner.
Okay, so
Should
all
be
of these
polite.
skills.
The
Polite.
teacher should be a 21st century teacher, tech savvy.
Okay, so all of you are mentioning many different skills. Yes, Apurva.
So according to me, I think a teacher should know how to create a classroom environment which is learner friendly and how to make her students more comfortable so that learning is possibly easy for them.
Very good. Okay, what else?
You should be creative.
Read the psychology of the student.
Psychology, so child psychology. It's not. It is specific to teachers because teachers need to know more about their learners, right? Think about more the skills that only are specific to teaching. Yes, Krishna.
Subject knowledge.
Subject knowledge. I think every professional needs to know more about their subject, what they do, right? But tell me more about what is a teacher supposed to know. Sanobar.
Yeah, hi. I think the teacher should be a creative thinker, and they should always be a learner.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that specific to teachers?
They should have a profile of being dedicated and being empathetic, and it's not always about being a very active teacher. Class shouldn't be about boredom and repetitive stuff.
Nature.
They should be innovative.
Innovative.
Full
So
of
you're
energy.
mentioning, all of you are mentioning so many good qualities and the skills that teachers should have, right? But there are a few skills that are specific to teaching, right? Like classroom management, like lesson planning,
classroom management.
Patience is one thing which teachers really need to have.
And yeah, and one more thing I would like to add with it is that a teacher should be a mentor.
Teacher should be a mentor. Okay, so let me say it in this way. So you've mentioned
Time management.
Okay, so you
A
have
teacher
mentioned
should be a
many
facilitator.
Facilitator, wonderful. Okay, let me finish. Let me wrap this up. Look at.
You're muted.
I think you are muted.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have summed up all the qualities and the skills that a teacher should have. We have created a beautiful word cloud about what a teacher should have. But many of what you mentioned are true for teachers and are true for many other other occupations. For example, communication skills are important in many other occupations. For example, for a salesperson or other. I'm looking forward into those that are specific to teachers. For example, a teacher should be very skilled at classroom management, right? He or she is supposed to be very good at lesson planning, right? So when I'm looking for a qualification, I'm looking for a qualification. I should look for a qualification that upskills my teaching practice, that aims at my teaching skills, right? Do you agree with that? Wonderful. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Wonderful. So, oops. Let's try to find the answer of how to find the teaching, right? What teaching qualification should I look for? How to find it? You know, I know many of you are maybe have started looking for a teaching position, but there are many different requirements that we are not clear about. We hear that we need a B.Ed, we need a PGCE, we need a PGCEI, we need a PGCL, and we are all confused about what qualification to choose, right? And that's why we are here today. So tell me, when you are looking for a teaching qualification, write for me in the chat, what is it that you are looking for? So I've already started receiving your answer. So tell me, when you are looking for a qualification, okay, you want to become a teacher and you're looking for a qualification. What is it that you're looking for? Very good. So I've started receiving accreditation, subject knowledge, authentic, B.Ed, placement, curriculum expertise, wonderful. International teaching job, skills, accreditation, upgraded course, accepted by schools, right? How long does it take? Teaching skills, international level of acceptance, subject knowledge plus pedagogic skills, recognition. Okay, wonderful. Global citizenship, interesting. IELTS, okay. UK level 6 accreditation, if it's accepted by KSJA. Knowledge to teach. Wonderful. So if you open the chat and you see all of your answers together, you'll see that we can categorize your answers in different categories. Are you ready for that? Implement teaching. Wonderful. So when I'm looking for a teaching qualification for my teaching job, I can look for, I've classified them into 5 or 6 areas. Are you ready to see what these are? Okay, wonderful.
Yeah.
First, I want career development and growth. I want to progress in my career, of course, right? Second, I want to upskill my practice. I want to become a better teacher that I am. No matter how good I am, I might be an excellent, outstanding teacher, right? But I always need to be a better one. Does it connect me? I need a qualification that connects me to an international community of educators, right? You know, especially after the pandemic, the world has really opened. Everybody can chat with everybody from all around the world. So does this qualification open for me this opportunity? Is it accepted by government entities? Many of you in the chat have mentioned KHDA or Ministry of the UAE, but we have people coming from different parts of the world, and there are different requirements in different parts of the world. So I need to check, is it accepted there? And I need to check if it is cost effective or time effective, right? Did I miss any of your points from those like 5 big titles? I'm going to go into detail of each of those 5 titles and see what does each of those mean. Okay. So if I start with career development and growth, I need to check, does this qualification give me an opportunity to grow? If I take this qualification, will my salary increase? Will I have a better position? Let's say now I am a teaching assistant. Will I become a teacher? I am a teacher. Will I have a leadership role? Does it open for me a progression route, a clear route? If I start as, let's say, I'm going to start from assistant teacher, will it allow me to become a teacher and then from a teacher become maybe a head of department or a coordinator? Does it help me build my career goals? Does it offer me career support? Is it approved and compatible in my target city, in my country, the one that I'm looking for? I've kept this point blue because I'm going to discuss this specifically next in my upcoming slide about what is approval and compatibility in different areas. Does anybody have anything to add on this part, only on career development? Wonderful. Are you ready to move to the next point? Great.
Yeah.
Okay. So I need to look for a qualification that upskills my teaching practice. Does this qualification enhance my teaching skills? Does it give me a practical experience? Are the trainers that are training me, are they qualified? What about the content that I'm given? Is it good content? Is it up to date or is it outdated? Right? Does it offer me a chance to interact with peer teachers from different backgrounds? Does it allow me to build a skill portfolio? This is how I know if the qualification upskills my teaching practice. If it has ticks on those points that I know that, okay, this will upskill my teaching. Anything you need to add on this part? Wonderful. Point number 3, are you ready? International community of professionals. If I join the qualification, will the other members of the qualification be from the same place with the same mindset? It's more about the mindset also, other than the diversity of nationalities, of backgrounds, of course, also of the open mindset. Does it allow me to interact with people of different backgrounds, different curricula also? Does it, let's say, do my peers, when we are in a classroom, do I hear ideas that are from a different part of the world maybe, or from a different experience, from a different curriculum, that adds up to my learning? My 4th point would be, is the qualification internationally approved? What kind of certificate do I receive by the end of the qualification? Does it have an international progression route? For example, if my certificate, where does it come from? Who is it approved by? What stamps does it hold? If I take this, how can I upgrade it and do another better step? Does it offer me international opportunities? Let's say, do I build a skills portfolio? I'm talking about skills portfolio here because I'm going to talk also about the licensing in different parts of the world. You know that in some countries, like let's say Canada, to get a teacher license in Canada, you need to have a skills portfolio. So does the qualification help me build a skills portfolio or not? And one important thing is, what is the level of the qualification? I will explain what that means also later in my next slide. Okay, and of course, I'm investing money and I'm investing time in a qualification. Is that effective? If I pay this much or I spend this much time on this qualification, will there be a return on my investment of money and investment of time? I wanted to look at all those 5 points and tell me if you have any questions on any of those, and if you feel like this list is intensive or not.
Ma'am.
Yes, please.
Ma'am, can you please explain skill portfolio?
Okay, wonderful. So in many countries, especially Western countries, where I'm taking Canada, for example, those countries, okay, so many countries require a teacher license. I'm going to explain that in the coming. Let me move ahead to the next slide and explain that in detail, okay? So in many countries, like all the countries that you see here, they require a teacher license or a teacher permit or some sort of approval by the government for you to become a teacher. In countries like Canada, to get the approval, to get the teaching license, you need to have a skills portfolio. You know, like all other professions, for example, if you are an interior designer, okay? An interior designer, they have a profile that shows their work, what projects they have worked on, they have pictures of their work, and they have that all in one place. So teachers need that too, a proof of their skills, a proof of their work. They develop a teaching a skills portfolio and they share it, part of their licensing process. And based off that, they get their license or not. Okay. In countries, for example, like the UK, in the UK, so if you see here, I've mentioned teacher license, teacher permit. I'm going to give different examples about that, okay? For example, in the UAE, there is a teacher license that comes from the Ministry of Education. Okay, for this license in the UAE, you have, if you are already teaching in a school, you have to apply your degrees and you have to pass 2 assessments, one pedagogy assessment, one subject assessment. In Dubai specifically, for example, there are other more requirements than that for the Ministry of Education, because every emirate has its own body that governs it. So teacher requirements across the world in different parts, even in the same country, they are different, right? For example, in the UK, there is a QTS, the qualified teacher status. To get that, you also need to have a teaching qualification, you need to have some experience, and again, you have to have a portfolio that you apply for to become licensed to teach there. So every country sometimes depends on a city, on an emirate, on, let's say in the US, different states also have different regulatory requirements. So when I start looking for a teaching qualification, the first thing that I should look for is, where do I want to teach? Right? And based from that, I can look for a qualification that has international acceptability. Does this help?
Ms. Lilo?
Yes.
Can you brief a little about Singapore requirement?
Again, for Singapore, there are some teaching qualifications that's required. I'm not sure about the skills portfolio. If you give me some time, I can get more clearer answer about that. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Any questions?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Like you said, there are countries that require some license or some kind of permit. So how is it possible, especially for Indians, to apply for these license or the permits?
So yeah, for whatever my target country is or my target city, I can check for the requirements for that. And I can check which qualifications they approve. They would be accepted. Okay, so
suppose you are,
yeah.
May I?
Yes, please.
Madam, may I?
Yes. So if suppose you are a B.Ed, you are already in a teaching job, and you're already qualified. So how and where would you apply for a license? Let's say for UAE.
No, so if you are in the teaching in the UAE, you apply for the
teaching in
you
India.
You cannot get you have to get it through a school. So you'll be teaching in a school and you apply your documents through the school itself. But if a school is looking to hire a teacher, they look at their credentials, for example. So you have a B.Ed, for example, but they look at first, is this B.Ed accepted by the ministry here or not?
Okay. Right? Okay. Right. Yep.
So that's why I'm saying. So you have to look at the target country that you're looking for. You have to look at the credentials, and you have to look, because they also look at the skills that you have. That's where also the skills portfolio play an important role.
Excuse me, I have a question. Yeah, so along with these skill sets and the educational qualifications and the license, whatever you're talking about, how the age factor matters.
So again, it depends from place to place. Okay. Now my focus here is about, I want to find the qualification that gives me the pass to the countries, right? So if I'm looking for a qualification, I need to look for one qualification that would give me a pass in different countries, right? That has international acceptability. That's not limited to one place or to one area. Once I have that, I have a big tick on a box ticked. Okay.
Lulu, I have a question. Is qualified when normally you look at a job profile that you're wanting to apply for, they say that looking for a fully qualified teacher. Now, what does that entitle? Are they asking for a teacher with a license, or what do they mean by qualified teacher?
Okay, so what do they mean? What do you think they mean by the qualified teacher? It means a teacher who has the qualification and has the skills. Okay, let's move ahead. I will explain to you what are the difference of some qualifications, and we're going to decide from there.
Okay.
Okay. Now, before we go ahead, I want to explain what is the level qualification, because as you are looking for a qualification, you'll hear different words. They'll say, okay, so this is at level 6, this is at level 7, this is at level 8, but we don't really understand what that means, right? So let's say in different countries, also when they are regulating their qualifications, okay, they have different frameworks. For example, in the UK framework, when I say, okay, I have a qualification at UK level 6, what does that mean? A UK level 6 is at a bachelor level degree. This is done for vocational qualifications. Okay, so if you hear UK level 6, you know that it is a bachelor level degree. UK level 7, it is a master's level degree. This one on the right is the UAE framework. So if somebody in the UAE has a level 7, it's at a bachelor level. So level 7 in the UK level 7 is at a master's level. UK level 7 in the UAE is at a bachelor level. Yes, Sanobar. You've raised your hand. Okay, Sneha.
Sorry, it was from before. I have
no worries. Yes,
Yeah,
Sneha,
so I had
tell me.
a doubt that if we, do our masters from an open university, is it valid in other countries like in UAE and UK and all?
So it depends. In the UAE, it's not accepted. Okay, it depends on the country, but in the UAE, open and online qualifications are not accepted. Jagorok.
Yeah, good evening, ma'am.
Hello.
I have this question that most of these qualifications, whether it's UK or US, for Indians, they're very difficult to achieve. The specific qualifications they ask for, because these degrees are only available. Because these qualifications or certificates are only in UK. Or if you try to do it from India.
No, it doesn't have to be taken from the UK. Okay. It is regulated by the UK. For example, Suraasa, we offer UK level 6 qualifications, which is at a bachelor level qualification that is registered on the Ofqual in the UK, and it's accepted in different parts of the world. For example, the UK level 6 that an Indian, a person from India takes is accepted in the UAE.
Can I ask a question, please?
Yes, please.
You said online qualifications are not accepted, but even the Suraasa's qualification, PGCET, is online. So can you make it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, I'll clarify that. So our qualifications are instructor-led. So even though before the pandemic, we were all doing them on site, face-to-face. With the pandemic, we are doing all the sessions on a Zoom platform, well, you have to attend the classes. You know that you attend around 50 sessions of face-to-face classes, right?
Right.
So that is why it's not considered online, because you are attending instructor-led classes and there are records of that.
Clear. Thanks.
Okay.
Excuse me, ma'am. I have a question. I just wanted to know, like, as you said, the UK level 6 over here is considered as a bachelor's degree. Though I have master's in business studies, will I be able to teach the that is 11th and 12th grade kids in UAE with PGCT? Because I don't have a B.Ed.
Okay, so level 6 is at the bachelor level. Okay, it's not equivalent to a bachelor's degree, because you come to level 6 with already a bachelor level degree, right? It's only 1 year. Now, there are two kinds of qualification. So there is a subject qualification and a teaching qualification. So you might have your master's degree in the subject, but you don't have the teaching qualification to allow you to teach, right? So in many countries, they do not accept only the subject qualification, because you might be an expert in your subject, but you are weak on the pedagogy skills. Remember the teaching skills that we mentioned in the beginning? You might be weak maybe in classroom management, or in child psychology, you cannot really relate to your learners. So pedagogy skills are separate from the subject skills that you have. That's why in many countries, it's important to have a subject qualification and the teaching qualification along with it. Okay, so in many countries, your subject degree, even if you have a PhD in your subject, that would not be enough. You need to have another qualification that is on pedagogy.
Okay,
So
hello.
Hello.
Hello, ma'am. I have to ask a question that I have done my bachelor's degree from distance open learning. And is it acceptable in UAE and other countries?
So as I said, in the UAE, those qualifications are not accepted. It depends on the country, even on the city or the emirate or the like the state that you're applying to. But if you take after that another qualification that is not online, usually they accept that, they consider that as the higher one.
But ma'am, I'm doing Suraasa, PGCTL from Suraasa. After that, is acceptable
So
or not?
yes. So if you take the PGCL would be considered as the higher qualification, then it would be accepted.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah. Abigail, raised your hand.
Hi, Miss Lulu.
Hi.
This slide says that.
Okay, just a minute, Krishna, just a minute. Please, somebody's making. Can we please mute ourselves so we can all listen? Let me check who's that. Okay, good, thank you. Yes, Krishna.
Ma'am, I've done a BCom and MCom, and I wanted to ask you if I should
I'm sorry,
B.Ed.
I'm sorry, Abigail, just let's listen to Krishna and then I'll listen to you, okay? Because she was speaking, I'm so sorry. Yes, Krishna, tell me.
Yeah, Ms. Lulu, like the previous slide, it was showing that PGCTL is at level 6 according to UK qualification.
Yeah.
And according to Emirates, it will be considered as a bachelor.
PGCL is at UK level 6, UAE level 7.
UAE level 7. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, Abigail? You're muted.
Hi, I have a question.
Yes, please.
I'm doing my specialization in international baccalaureate from University of Toronto. It's an online course, and I am a master's in biotechnology. So, how will this Suraasa training will help me further?
So I'm sorry, can you say that again? You're studying already, you have a bachelor's degree in?
No, I have master's in biotechnology. Then now I am doing IB specialization, IB curriculum specialization from University of Toronto. So how will the Suraasa training help me, especially to find a job in Saudi Arabia? How will it help me?
Okay, so again, we were talking about the subject qualification and the teaching qualification, and we mentioned that in many countries you would require the qualification that would upskill your teaching, right? So our qualifications, I will talk later about how PGCL, and I have my colleague Manish who would also answer your questions about the PGCTL. The purpose of this session was focusing on what to look for in a qualification, right? What is it that I'm looking for? Yes, Miss Hina.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I have a master's degree in computer application. That is the subject degree you said. So
Right.
apart from that, the teaching qualification, I am not having B.Ed or PGCTL, and I have not applied for either. So does, if I like, I'm 39. If I'll apply for PGCTL, especially to get a job in a UAE, so will it be helpful to me?
Of course. Then you'll have the skills and the teaching qualification that would help you get a teaching position, right?
But does age factor also matters?
Of course, but like, learning never stops, and there are always opportunities if we look for, and if we prove that we are skilled enough, right? If we prove that, okay, I have the passion, I have the education, I have the skills, I can do 1, 2, 3. Look, I have a skills portfolio that proves that I have done this and I can do that. Why wouldn't a school hire you?
Actually, I have applied in many schools, then I got the interview also. But the problem is that I have a university experience and college experience, teaching experience. I do not have any school experience with me. So after listening to my experience, they said, no, we don't want. So that's why I'm
okay, so you have to start with small steps. You have to start with a qualification that's directed to teaching in a school, right? And have some exposure to schools, and from there you can get the job that you want.
Okay, thank you so much.
Anytime. Yes, Apurva.
So, ma'am, my question is that I am a chef by profession. I have done my honors in hotel management. So, is there any chance that I'll be getting any job related to my profession there? Like as
so
a
you
teacher,
want to become a teacher of what?
Like I can teach kitchen skills or culinary.
Of course. So you have the subject qualification. Now you're looking for the teaching qualification that gives you the pedagogy skills that would allow you to teach what you already know, right?
Right. So will I get any opportunity to be teaching as a professor in a college, or should I just stick to schools only?
So it would depend on the college requirements, right? You have to check what are the college requirements. But at a school, you would be, for example, there are IB schools that teach such subjects, such programs, then of course you would be eligible to teach there.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Welcome. Abigail, I'm sorry it's been around and we haven't heard you yet. Please speak.
Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon, ma'am. My name is Abigail, and I have completed BCom and MCom, and I'm not sure now whether I should do a B.Ed because I want to apply for teaching in Germany or Spain, otherwise USA. So should I do my B.Ed? I have done TEFL and CELTA.
Very good. TEFL and CELTA, it means you want to teach English, right?
Yes.
So you want to teach English, so you need to look for a qualification that would help you become qualified in teaching in those countries, right? And these countries look for international qualifications. So whatever the qualification that you are looking for, you have to make sure that it is international and meets the requirements of the country that you're applying for.
Okay.
Right? Okay, let's move ahead. Let's leave. Okay, I think we've gone more into question answer
yes,
mode.
madam.
Let's
Madam,
finish
I have a question. I have a question, please.
Yes, just
can you consider my question?
Okay, tell me.
All right, madam. I was asking. I have B.Ed mathematics, so I want to know the kind of certificate I need to help me to teach in the UAE.
I'm sorry, can you repeat again? You have a bachelor in mathematics?
Yes, please.
And you
Bachelor
want
of Education
in the
Mathematics.
UAE?
Yes, please.
Okay, so you have your subject qualification, but you don't have a teaching qualification, right?
Actually, I have diploma in teaching.
Okay.
Diploma in education.
So you have to check if the diploma that you have is accepted in the UAE or not.
Okay, please, how do I do that?
If you want, you can, we will share at the end of the session, we'll share a link where you can connect with one of our mentors and they can check the certificate for you if it's accepted or not.
All right.
Okay.
My next question is about the Suraasa certificate.
Okay, I'm coming to Suraasa certifications. We're coming to that. Let's finish what we have and then I'll answer all of your questions about the PGCL, okay?
Miss Lulu, can I ask a question about B.Ed, please?
Let's get into details. I'm going to share some details about, let's do some comparison, okay? Let's do some comparison between B.Ed, PGCE, PGCI, and PGCL. I'm sure as you're looking for a qualification, for a teaching qualification, you're getting confused of all of those names, right? So I prepared a small comparison chart so that we explain the difference. Now, as an entry level for a B.Ed, you know that you need to have finished your school and then you go to a university and you do a B.Ed. So 2 years, in some countries it's 2 years, in some countries it goes up to 4, even 5 years in some countries, you can get your B.Ed, right? The B.Ed is a bachelor level, so it's at UK level 6. I've explained the levels earlier, right? Now, for the B.Ed, you have to be going full-time to a university, right? The B.Ed is more theoretical and it is country-specific. For example, if, let's say, for example, just an example, I take a B.Ed in India, it might be accepted in India, but if I go somewhere else, it would not be accepted. Okay, it depends on the university, of course, where I've taken it from and all of that. Now, interesting part about the PGCE, because I know many of our learners, they start applying to schools here and they usually post that the schools require a PGCE. A PGCE, the entry level for the PGCE is a graduate degree. So you already need to have your subject qualification, a graduate level in your subject, and then you go extra for the PGCE. Now, the PGCE can be at UK level 6, or it can be at UK level 7. It can be for P, it can be a professional graduate certificate in education, or it can be a postgraduate certificate in education. The PGCE usually takes 1 to 2 years. You can do it part-time or full-time, but a PGCE, you can only take it if you are living in the UK. Okay, if you are not in the UK, you cannot take a PGCE. If you're outside the UK, you can consider PGCEI. Again, it's for the entry level, it's a graduate level. It can be at level 6 or level 7. It can be a professional graduate certificate or a postgraduate certificate. It usually takes 1 to 2 years. It can be full-time or full-time. But the PGCEI is accepted in a minimum number of countries because it's considered an online qualification. So PGCEI, the I here is for international. Okay. If we talk about the PGCTL, again, the same entry level as PGCE and PGCI. The PGCL that we offer is at UK level 6. It is at a graduate level. It can be done in 1 year. It is a part-time qualification, so you can keep your job and pursue the PGCL. And the certificate that comes with PGCL is an off-qual certificate that comes from the UK, which is accepted in many countries. So for PGCL, it's accepted in the UAE, like it's a KHA approved in Dubai, okay? And if it's accepted in the UK, and for example, if you want to go to Canada, to countries like Canada, like Australia, the PGCL helps you prepare a skills portfolio. You can share this skills portfolio with the government entity, and your certificate goes, it would be subject to equalization and it would be accepted. Okay. Now I listen to your questions. Yes, Muniba.
Thank you, Miss Lulu. Actually, I want to ask about the entry level. You said that it should be a graduate degree. Now, we have seen the issues coming when we have equalization process in UAE for that. If your graduation is for 2 years, they call it diploma. They don't call it the graduation. And if you have 3 or 4 years of high school or university degree, they consider it as graduate person. So my question is that if your degree is for 2 years and it is like graduation in sciences or graduation in arts, so you are actually having the graduate degree, and we might be acceptable for entry level for PGCTL. When I went for equivalency, it's done for me, but as in I have done my graduation in 2007, and I had the graduation in maths, stat, economics from Pakistan, and it is a 2 year degree. So here they accept this as a 4 year. I'm still teaching in a school from last 6 years as a primary teacher. So for my question is that if I opt for PGCTL, so my entry level will not be considered as graduate level, or how I can avail
So
them?
your degree, if you have your bachelor's degree that was done for 2 years, for PGCL, it would be accepted. You would be accepted into PGCL.
Okay, but here that they have declared my degree as a diploma, then how you will accept it as a graduate degree? Because they said it's not for 4 years, it's for 2 years graduation. So how
So
you
it
will
has
accept it?
happened for us that some of our learners, we have many of our learners who come from Pakistan and who have done the 2-year bachelor qualification. What happened is when they applied the documents to the ministry with the PGCL, they got accepted because the PGCL was an extra to their degree. Right, so they were accepted as teachers. Miss Giselle.
But Miss Lulu, what the question is that I have already been in your office for that things, but that thing that stopped me was my graduation degree, because I was really have planning to have PGCTL. Met one of the person over here and they guided me so well, but my graduation degree stopped me because my graduation degree is for 2 years. Let's say I apply for that, I opt for the PGCTL course and I do it within 1 year or two, how much time it takes. But when I go for the licensing system and this ask me, okay, your PGCL is fine, we are fine with that, it's acceptable in our country, but your graduation is actually not a graduation. So that how
So
can
what
this
I'm saying,
PGCTL
what
will
it
be?
has happened, if you want, also we can connect you with some of our graduates from Pakistan and they can tell you what they did, how their journey was. Okay, would that help you?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Yes. Because we had, that's what I'm saying. So we've had those learners who had their bachelors, and when they applied with their PGCL, it helped them with their documentation. We can connect you with some of our learners. Maybe they can support you into the process that they went through.
Okay, please, if you can at the end of the session mention that, I would appreciate that, so that I can go for my
connect with
PGCTL.
one of our mentors. You know how, right? You already have some of our contacts. Just tell them.
Yeah, I do have your contact, so I can send you a message for that.
Send me a message, and
all right,
we'll
thank you
connect
so
to
much.
one. Okay, dear. Okay. Yes, Mrs.
All right, thank you so much.
Anytime.
Hi,
Dear.
Lulu.
Hi.
Lulu, actually, I have just a couple of questions. The first question is, like, I have done my BA in psychology and sociology, and I just completed the PGCTL course, so I'm just waiting for the certification. The thing is that I have been applying to a lot of schools, especially GEMS and international schools, not the Indian CBSE schools.
Here in where? Just tell me, where are you applying? In Dubai, in the UAE?
In Dubai,
Dubai
basically, just
specifically.
Dubai.
Yes.
Yeah, just
Okay.
Dubai specifically. And they've just been asking for either a PGCE or a PGDE. So there's nowhere in the picture where they are asking for a PGCTL. So this is what's a little worrying me, because I've been applying and not got a single response.
Right.
Yeah.
So PGCL, the certificate that you get from PGCL is accepted by KHJ and KHJ approved. You know that, right? You can check that on the KHJ website.
Yes.
Now, sometimes the schools have to accept a qualification that is accepted in the in Dubai, right? Since it is accepted, so this gives you the plus. Now, this what I'm saying is, if you see that PGCE can only be taken in the UK. So sometimes schools are looking for native speakers. That's why they ask for a PGCE.
What about PDGE? They've written
that's
what
the
I
one. It's an equivalent to PGCE, but that is taken in Scotland.
Oh, okay. So it's not a UAE course that can be done here.
No, no.
Okay.
Okay.
All
yes,
right.
Aru.
Ma'am?
Yes.
Ma'am, I have a question.
Yes, please.
Ma'am, I'm BCom graduate. I myself, Mayuri, I'm a BCom graduate, and I'm teaching in a school for to 8, 9, 10 standard. Maths I'm teaching them. So like
Okay.
how should I pursue my career now?
Okay, just tell me again, please, clearly, so I understand your concern.
Ma'am, I'm a BCom graduate.
BCom graduate.
So yeah, I'm a teacher and I'm a teaching in school right now, 8, 9, 10, 10 standard maths I'm teaching.
Where?
So in a school I'm teaching.
Which
so
school are you teaching?
I am teaching in St. Thomas School.
And where? In which country?
In India only.
In India. Okay, so you have your subject qualification. Now you need a teaching qualification that would help you upskill your teaching practice, right?
Yeah, so for teaching qualification, what course should I do?
So I'm saying you have different options, but you can also go for the PGCTL. That would give you the UK level 6 qualification and would help you upskill your practice and cover all other areas. Okay.
PGCTL.
Yeah.
Excuse me,
We can now Manish, my colleague, has shared in the chat a link. You can press on the link and book a mentor session with him. He will guide you on the right qualification for you. Okay. So I'm going to keep this screenshot here now. And again, for any qualifications that you're looking for, I want you to look and make sure if it meets those points. Okay, for example, for our PGCTL, let me talk now about PGCL specifically, since we have gone through the comparison chart. Okay, so the career development and growth, point number 1, the PGCL offers you a chance of building your e-portfolio, your profile. Okay, and we connect you when you build your profile on the Suraasa platform. We connect you with the schools. For now, we have schools that already are partners in India and the UAE, and we are progressing in different parts of the world. But for our PGCL graduates, we connect them with our partner schools when they have finished the qualification, so that they get opportunities, career opportunities in with those schools. Okay, so the PGCL has a star on the first point. Upskilling the teaching practice, PGCL, of course, enhances your teaching practice a lot, because we have a very intensive curriculum where we have instructor-led classes, we have the online modules, we have assignments that help you build your skills portfolio, the same skills portfolio that you would be needing for your international acceptance in different parts of the world. Our teachers come from all parts of the world. Our trainers are also very qualified, and they come from different backgrounds, different curricula. So it ticks all the skills on the second point. Of course, we offer an international community of professionals, as most of you know or have seen, that our trainers are from all over the world, have very strong background in education and experience in different curricula. PGCTL, the certificate that you receive with PGCTL comes from the UK. It is an off-qual registered qualification that is accepted in different parts of the world. Okay, including UAE and UK, and in countries like Canada and Australia and those countries. But of course, just keep in mind that when you take qualifications in another country, it would have to go through an equalization process. Compared to other qualifications, it's very cost effective and it is time effective because it can be completed in 1 year. Okay, so the PGCL has stars on the 4 areas that we have discussed earlier. Well, I hope everybody else enjoyed. I hope it was, it answered the questions that you have and you're clear now about, I would really appreciate if you keep a screenshot of what we have now and whatever qualification you're looking for, whatever you're looking for, make sure that it meets the ticks that are found there and that it meets your targets.